Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the lower control arm on this 2004 Volkswagen Jetta. And we show you on the passenger side, but the driver's side is a similar procedure. And the items you'll need for this is a new front lower control arm from 1AAuto.com, 16, 17, and 18 millimeter sockets and a ratchet, 13 millimeter and 18 millimeter wrenches, 7 millimeter Allen bit, locking pliers, a torque wrench, jack and jack stands, and a hammer. Start off using a 7 millimeter Allen and just prying out these lug nut caps. We'll fast forward as he does the rest of those. And you'll notice that this lug nut is a little different than the others. You're going to need a key to remove it. And that key can be found right here next to your jack stand in your trunk. And you can just push it into that lug nut, and now it removes just like a regular lug nut. And if you don't have air-powered tools, you're going to want to loosen up these lug nuts, then raise the vehicle and remove them the rest of the way. Once the lug nuts are removed, the wheel will pull right off. And your lower control arm is located right here. And you want to start off by removing these two 18 millimeter bolts. And for the first one, you can just use a socket and ratchet. And for this bolt, you're going to need both hands to remove it. So first, just break it free. And then you're going to want to put an 18 millimeter wrench on the top of it. And then use your socket and ratchet for the bolt itself. We'll just fast forward as Don does this. Next, remove this 16 millimeter bolt in your sway bar link. At the top of this ball joint, there's a 13 millimeter nut, and you want to go ahead and remove that. And to do that, you want to put some locking pliers in between the gasket on the ball joint and the wheel knuckle, and then using a 13 millimeter wrench, remove the nut at the top. And we'll just fast forward as Don does this. Once that's removed, just pull the wheel away and then pull the control arm down and out. Next, remove these three 13 millimeter bolts that hold the ball joint in place. And once you remove the last one, the ball joint will pull free. On the left is your old control arm. On the right is the new one from 1A Auto. You can see they're identical and they're going to fit exactly the same. Now you would take your old ball joint and push it into your new control arm, but we're just going to replace our ball joint with a new one. And you just put it into your control arm, put this bracket right here, and then start twisting in your bolts from the other side. And we'll fast forward as Don tightens those up. And then torque each of these to 40 foot-pounds. Push the lower control arm back into place, and you may need a hammer to help push it back. And put one of your bolts in, and if it doesn't fit, hammer it back a little further. Push the bolt in all the way, and then put the nut on the other side of it. And to make sure the other side lines up, push that bolt back into place. And now you can line up your ball joint and push that up into the wheel knuckle. and then just replace that nut at the top of the ball joint. And we'll fast forward as Don tightens up those 2 bolts and that nut at the top of the ball joint. Now torque those 2 18mm bolts to 70 foot-pounds. And replace that 16mm bolt in your sway bar link and tighten it up. Push the wheel back into place and line up the holes for the lug bolts. And then replace the lug bolts. And if you don't have air-powered tools, you want to tighten these preliminarily, lower the vehicle, and then tighten them the rest of the way. And then lower the vehicle and torque each lug nut to 100 foot-pounds in a crossing pattern. Replace your lug nut caps and you're all set.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by oneaauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.